Welcome back to Fiercely Blessed, powered by Blessed Bananas. I am Nadine Ramos, and I am here alongside my beautiful co-host, Taina Del Rio. Say hello.
Hi, you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you, sister. You too. I am loving all that blue on you with that dark hair. You're just popping.
Thank you.
Well, we wanted to take this moment to just say thank you. We are new to the podcast world, and thus far, we received so many great compliments and feedback on the 2 episodes we launched. It's really a platform created for women and entrepreneurs who have a life story to share. And that's all we're doing here is sharing our upbringing and how the pieces to that puzzle of life, of my upbringing, has really come into full circle and has allowed me to propel into this entrepreneur that I am today, a CEO, a mom, a sister, a wife, a friend, so many titles us women carry, and being able to talk about that in real life and with true transparency and vulnerability. And so I just want to say thank you to the viewers who have been supporting, and I know my sister wanted to say thank you as well, so why don't you take that time?
Yes, thank you everybody for all your awesome feedback. We just are excited to have this grow week after week. And, it's been such a joy to just chat because I feel like I'm just chit-chatting with my sister, and to share it with you all is like icing on the cake. So we're going to dive in to May's life story. Last week we talked about our mother and the impact that she made. She kind of has been in the first and second episodes because she's, such a crucial part of our life and upbringing. And after losing her, that really changed the course of our lives. So the first question for this episode is, did you have a calling to God as a teen? I know today in your life, you are walking with Christ. You are a woman of God. You hear his voice and you respond. You are obedient, and I see him all over you. So that just brings so much joy to my life. But as a teen, what was your experience with God? Did you feel that calling then?
So as a teen, I didn't feel the calling. Looking back now, I know God was always with me and in my life, especially when we lost mommy. But as a teen and in my rebel stages, I know he was with me because, when you can say I could have been dead 100 times, I could have been dead 100 times as a teenager because of all the dumb choices I made. And looking back in hindsight, I didn't see the calling in my life back then, but I know 100% he was always with me and keeping me, preserving me, and saving me from all the bad choices that I made. And I can think now and say, all those mistakes, all those horrible choices were to bring light to who he is today, because it was by his saving grace that I am here. I remember when mommy first passed away, like that day, that moment that we found out. I was lost in the world. I was doing my own thing. I wasn't into drugs at that moment, but I was suppressing anger and past hurt from my childhood that we explained in the other episodes with alcohol. And so I remember not serving God. I remember always out and about drinking and partying, having a great time at 19. And so when we were at the hospital, when they pronounced mommy had passed, I remember you and I, going into the closest bathroom. And at that moment, there was just a sense of peace that came over us. Like we were hugging and crying. And then boom, it just stopped. There was just like, for a moment, it felt like time stopped and there was no sorrow, there was no pain. It was just straight up peace, and only you and I were in that room to experience it. Do you remember that?
100%. You know how, like, you can't remember vivid details along the way all the time, but there are certain memories in your life that just are always there. And that is definitely one of them. I know you know that my memory is not the best, but that specific time I always retell it because it was such a beautiful moment. Like, I know it was painful and I know that it was the greatest loss of my life, but at the same time it was an opportunity for me to really feel the tangible peace of God. And I retell it all the time because I'll never forget it. I will never forget it. And it's one of those moments that really impacted me and my faith.
Amen. And it was one of those moments where I remember feeling like there is a God. No matter how much I've heard about him, no matter how forced I was to go to church as a little girl, here I am at 19. I have a choice to make, a decision to make. And it was in that moment of heartache that I experienced God as an adult for the very first time in my life. And it was undeniable that he was there and he's real.
Yeah.
And so I think it was from that point on that I knew that there was more to life and that I knew everything was going to be okay. I didn't realize that I would go through even lower moments after losing mommy. That's when my life changed drastically and I would experience the worst of addiction. I would experience true loss and pain. Even after experiencing that moment with God, I still had to go through these rough valleys in order to come out with this true testimony of what he has done in my life. So I can't wait to share all of those details. When are we going to get to the good stuff?
You know, we got to be patient.
The patient sister.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. What advice would you give your younger self?
Continue to be a leader. Continue to take time for yourself and learn who you truly are without the noise of the world, without the noise of your friends, without the noise of society and television and all that confusion. Really take time to figure out who you are, because there's so much power in that when you know who you are, and it's hard when you're younger to understand that. But imagine if I was able to do that at a young age, what life would look like for me. But it would be that, and that also my stubbornness will pay itself off in a weird way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where it's like, because when you're stubborn and if you're stubborn with your dreams, no one and nothing can take it away. Nothing can stop it. So when I was stubborn when I was young, I believe it was a characteristic that was growing, developing, and strengthening within me to be able to have the skill sets and character to do what I do. Because trust me, it takes character. And what defines character are so many different attributes. And so I would say just stay stubborn and just turn all of that into something positive. Use that force to be something like unstoppable.
Love it. Love it. So what would you tell a young viewer? What would you tell them to help them during their teenage years and get them through?
I think particularly a young viewer who is going through emotions that are not dealt with, my advice would be to let your guard down for that one person you feel you can trust. Take the risk in trusting and have that person help you manage those emotions. Have that person take you through that journey in figuring out why you're feeling the way you're feeling, because hindering it does not get you anywhere. The more you hinder it, the more anger it becomes. The more you hinder it, the more confused you become. And so having someone to talk you through those emotions and help navigate you through them is crucial to defining who you are. And not saying if this younger viewer has gone through pain and suffering and loss and whatever it is, not saying all of that is justified, but it's about you focusing on you to be better. You focusing on not your situation, but saying, when I focus on me, I can get myself out of this situation. When I focus on me, I can become powerful, unstoppable, and in control of my life. And so I urge that young viewer to find that person they can trust. And if it feels like you're so alone and there is no one there, I promise you, if you found a church family, there's someone in that church that you'll be able to trust. Hands down, I could put my life on that. If you feel alone and there's no one that you can turn to right now, find the church family. And I guarantee you, you'll find peace there, and you'll find yourself an amazing longtime friend that will become a sister. All right, so I'm gonna flip the script on you, and I'm gonna ask you a question since you've been the one asking all the questions here. What do you think?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, cool. So you know me better than anyone else because we shared a household. It would be interesting to hear how you would describe me from the age of 13 to 16. Like, how would you describe me back then?
Oh my goodness. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is you were a total bitch.
Oh my God. Sorry. What?
And
No,
so
come
was
on.
I. Like
Oh,
we were
you
like,
were horrible, Ty. And like, if we could be honest now, no, we knew, and I'm so glad God restored our relationship. We've been through some stuff where, at the end of the day, we were really dealing with issues.
yeah.
You had daddy issues. I had daddy issues. By the way, guys, we have two different dads. Taina's dad raised me from when I was 6 months old all the way till I was 9. I still call him daddy till this day. Um, but he had a hard life with us as well. My mother put him through some stuff, and so um, that impact was on your life now because he had to walk away from you, and that was hurtful, and so you resented him and you had a lot of anger, and so you took it out on me, you took it out on whoever was around. So it was
And on
hard. There was a lot
top
of
of,
bickering.
sorry to cut you off, but
No,
on
please.
top of what you go through as a teen and your hormonal changes and not knowing how to channel what you're feeling inside, I remember just feeling mad at the world, like totally miserable and taking it out on the ones that were closest to me.
Hmm.
So, we were always at each other's throats. And part of it was that, I was watching you partying, have a good time with your friends. And I was kind of stuck at home because I was too young to do any of that. And I felt at that time that you were so busy enjoying yourself that you had no time for me. So I didn't know how to express that and put that into words and tell you, hey, do you want to spend time with me? Like,
Yeah.
I'm here. And you didn't know how to read my mind.
And I didn't know how to be gentle with you. For viewers out there who have younger siblings, we need to learn how to be gentle, be kind, try to be understanding, even in the midst of us living our own life at this moment of like teenage years and having fun and discovery. But there's that younger sibling looking up to us, and I'm so glad God restored our relationship at the end of the day. I know I asked you for forgiveness years ago because we gone through some stuff. We
Yeah.
we we had some really rough patches, and only God could restore that and make us whole. And I mean, I cannot see my life without you. You are my best friend, my confidant. my go-to. I'm sick if I don't speak to you for more than 24 hours. Like, I don't know if that's
Same.
codependency or what,
That's
but
love.
I love you, sister.
I love you. Oh, I just want to echo your feelings. You are my best friend. You are my biggest supporter. You're the one I call first for anything. You're a
Same.
listening ear. You are the best aunt to my boys, the
Mhm.
most incredible sister. And I am just so thrilled to have you by my side that I need very little friends because I have my
Word.
sister who's my friend who I could trust with any part of my life.
And that is a fact. So, thank you, sister, again for doing this with me and allowing us to share our story with the world. If you are enjoying our podcast, Fiercely Blessed, powered by Blessed Bananas, we encourage you to continue to support us by liking us, subscribing on YouTube, also following us on Apple TV and Spotify. And you know what? Share the link with a friend. If you feel someone can be inspired and impacted in a positive way, spread the word. We would really appreciate it. And we want to continue to do what we're doing. So stay tuned for the very next podcast. We will see you then.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.